All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Now, I want to talk about the Conor McGregor allegation situation, okay? Most of you are probably assuming I'm going to come on here and defend him because that seems to be what most people are doing. I don't want to do that. I'm going to take the devil's advocate position just for fun, and because I think that some of the people, mainly one in particular, who are more in line with that they are defending him, or at least were at the time, have really bad arguments. And I think that if you were somebody who wanted to argue from the opposite position that you thought Conor McGregor was in fact guilty or most likely guilty, because I don't really think that anybody should be taking a strong position on this allegation until more evidence comes out. And thankfully I didn't do this video yesterday, which I was going to, but more evidence has came out. I think that a lot of the people, again, it was Jesse on Fire. I watched a Jesse on Fire video. He made some arguments in favor of Conor McGregor that I thought were just stupid. And that if you were somebody who was arguing from the other side, they would be easily argued against. And I think that it would be more entertaining if I were to come onto here and give the position that I'm sure most MMA YouTubers are not giving, and try to argue from the side of maybe Conor McGregor is a little more guilty than people think of. And to be clear, that is not my position. I'm not giving my position. I'm playing devil's advocate. So before you go and get angry in the comment section, just know that if you didn't listen, then that's on you, because I'm not giving my position. So also, I want to apologize. I won't be putting out a picks video this week. I'm exhausted. I don't have time to research and watch back old fights and things like that due to moving. So I'll put one out for the next one, but I just simply have not had the time. Anyways, let's get right into it. Before we do, like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, one of the arguments that he made that I thought was absolutely ridiculous is Jesse on Fire seems to think that a professional fighter is essentially invincible from any civilian attack. Okay, and I know that's silly to call somebody a civilian compared to him, because that's like military lingo or whatever, but we'll just use that for now. Because while that lady's story is absolutely fantastical and makes it very hard to believe, I think that there are aspects in there that aren't as crazy as some people are making it seem to be. So one, the elbowing to get away from him. Right? If you're pushed up against the wall and that man is focused on pulling down his pants or undoing his zipper or whatever the fuck, he is not immune to like a sucker blow, right? You could easily sucker elbow somebody, and while he's in good shape, and yes, he's a professional fighter and a very good one at that, that doesn't mean that a shot he doesn't see coming isn't going to give him pause or make him react. You know what I mean? So that was one thing that I thought was that. He goes, if Conor McGregor wants to make sure you don't have space to throw elbows, he's going to make sure you don't have space to throw elbows. And I just thought, okay, dude, as if he's fucking Iron Man or something. BJ Penn got flatlined by a fucking civilian. You know what I mean? If you sucker punched a professional fighter, you could sleep them. It is what it is. And if you've got a girl up against the wall and you're fucking fiddling with your pants or whatever the fuck, and she throws a big elbow behind her that you're not expecting, it digs right in your ribs or whatever, that could absolutely cause you to oh shit, and then she has time to get away. That's number one. Number two, he said that the reason, one of the lines he would point to regarding if somebody believed her story, it would be the line where it's been said that she does not want to press criminal charges, she just wants a settlement. And while that does kind of look bad, and I would agree that that looks bad, if you were her lawyer or you were somebody on her side trying to defend her, that is easily arguable. Okay, first of all, I don't know if he has or not, but if Jesse on Fire has never had to go to court, criminal or otherwise, it's extremely uncomfortable for anybody, and I would imagine that it would be heightened 10 times if it was regarding something like that. Do you know what I mean? I've had to go through criminal trials, I've had to go through civil trials. Neither of them are fun. And as if you were somebody who was assaulted in the manner that she is claiming to be assaulted, I would imagine the last thing you would want to do is have to tell that story 100 times over to the police again, to the prosecutor in front of the court, to his defense attorney who's going to be absolutely ripping into you, bringing up every single thing that he can nitpick out of your life, relevant or otherwise, to the entire courtroom filled with spectators, which, because it's involved involving Conor McGregor would be a fuck ton. There would be reporters everywhere, okay? All for what? You tell me, dude. First of all, they were in the States, so I would imagine he would get charged in the States. I don't know about Miami or Florida in particular, but it is extremely difficult, and this is like a known fact in the criminal world, law, or the law world, whatever the fuck. It is so hard to get a conviction on a sexual assault. It just is. It's like one of next to impossible. And then you think of this on top of that, okay? He's worth a couple $100 million. He has the money to buy the best defense money can buy. And so you could go there, be 100% truthful, and let's just hypothetically say that what she said, her version of events, is what happened. Again, I don't think that that's the case, but I'm playing devil's advocate here. If her version of events is what happened, you could go there, you could cry your heart out, you could tell your story the best way that you could possible. His defense team is gonna make it so he gets I would imagine if he got convicted guilty of anything regarding this situation, he would do 0 fucking jail time, okay? Because oftentimes that's what happens. These kind of crimes do not get prosecuted the way that they should. Okay, and I think that that's been proven like time and time again, where we've seen guys who grape women who get away with like 2 years or some bullshit, and then what? They're on their best behavior because there's no women in there for them to fucking grape, and then they get out in like a year. Do you know what I mean? Like, for what? Dude, I'll tell you this: if Conor McGregor assaulted me outside, like in the world, in public, I'm not taking that to fucking trial. Are you out of your mind? Check. Now, like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? That is the dumbest point ever. Oh, she doesn't want to take it to a... Yeah, no shit, dude. Most people don't. And if somebody did something to you and they have the means to pay you, not to make it go away or to make it better, but to just make it fucking like, okay, fine, dude, I'll accept your whatever. Why not? Dude, something else, okay? So the video came out of her leading her to the, of him, pardon me, leading her to the bathroom, and it appears to be consensual. She grabbed his hand, they walked into the bathroom. Either his security guards or the security guards for the arena stopped her friend from entering. And he said, and I will preface, he did also say that it looks very bad for Conor McGregor, and that security guard stopping the girl from coming in is probably not a good thing. He has a fucking childish understanding, in my opinion, of the word forced. And I know he would agree with me on this. And the reason being, the question I would ask Jesse on Fire is, Jesse, does somebody have to physically impose something on you in order for it to be forced? And whether or not he says yes or no, I don't know. But I would then ask him, okay, so did all, and I know he would fucking agree with me on this, do all of the people who got vaccinated with the threat of their livelihood, right? Were those people not forced? No. I know he would agree with that. I know he would, because he claims to have lost his job because he didn't get vaccinated, right? And there were countless people who I've spoken to myself who said the only reason I got it was because I wasn't going to be able to continue working, or the only reason I got it was because I wasn't going to be able to continue going to school. Force has more to the definition than just physically taking somebody and making them do something. Coercion can be involved, okay? And the moment in which that situation or that scenario becomes coercive is the moment that the security guards block her friend from going into the bathroom behind them. Because if that woman, and again, dude, fuck off with your comments, devil's advocate, if that woman went into that bathroom with him under the assumption, or with the pretext, whatever, that her friend was going to be coming with them, she was consenting to her and her friend going into the bathroom with Conor McGregor. If then those security guards block her friend from entering into that bathroom, that's the moment at which it becomes force. Because we don't know whether or not she consented or agreed to go in there without her friend. That's where the word force can be used. This is easily fucking argued. He's acting as though that's such a childish understanding of the word force. He's acting as though you have to be literally physically forced to do something, right? The government was not going around strapping people to fucking gurneys to inject them with shit, right? They were coercing you, which is still forceful. I know he would agree with this. And if he didn't, then he would have to walk back his entire fucking vaccine stance. Okay? He would have to walk it all back. So he has to agree with that position. So I don't know why he keeps acting like the word force is the problem here. Okay? The other thing I want to bring up, I don't even want to talk about her statements or his fucking or whatever, dude. The thing I want to bring up is, I understand that Conor McGregor is the most wealthy and the most famous UFC fighter, right, that there is. But there are plenty of UFC fighters who have plenty of money, who have plenty of fame, who had a woman felt that they wanted to make a stink or a show of something to get a paycheck, right? There are plenty of UFC fighters who could easily write them a 7-figure paycheck. Israel Adesanya, who I don't like, okay, is ballin', right? Not as ballin' as Conor McGregor, not worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but if there was a sexual allegation or a sexual assault allegation levied against him, he could afford to write them a fat check, okay? He is also very famous. He is constantly out in public, going to events, things like this. Not once have we heard of any allegation even close to this regarding Israel Adesanya. John Jones might be the biggest piece of shit to ever... No, he can't be the biggest piece of shit to ever fight in the UFC because fucking Warhorse or whatever his name was fought in the UFC. But a top 3, top 5 maybe, right? John Jones, biggest piece of shit. Top 5 biggest piece of shit in the UFC ever of all time. Okay? Not just that, abuses women, right? Beats his wife, right? Hits a pregnant lady with the car, breaks her arm due to the car crash, drives off, right? Comes back for his drugs. Okay, DUIs constantly. All this shit. Horrible, horrible guy. Not once have we heard of a sexual assault allegation being levied at John Jones. These are guys, not necessarily Israel Adesanya, because I don't know that he has a criminal record, but there are guys that you would, like, expect this to be the case. There are UFC fighters where you're like, yeah, that guy's probably fucking a little rapey. You know what I mean? They don't even have these allegations. Why is it only him? Why is he the only one? Okay, and now it's at about, what, 4 or 5? And I get that the stories coming from these women make it sound as though they're lying, right? Like the lady jumping off the yacht. This lady elbowing him after being coerced into a bathroom without her friend, and then all the shit. Like, these stories are fantastical, so they on the surface appear to be not true. Why is he the only one, though? Do you know what I mean? Like, it can't... Once you've got a certain amount of money, it doesn't matter if you have more. You have enough to write a fat check to somebody that you've wronged. Israel Adesanya does. John Jones does. Habib does. Fucking tons of these guys. Dustin Poirier does. Justin Gaethje probably does. All of these guys. And there's only one fucking guy who's got multiple allegations levied against him. I mean, Jesus, dude. At best, stop putting yourself in situations where this could potentially be a problem. You're in your 30s. You've got, what, 3 kids and a wife? What the fuck are you doing? Jesse on Fire, this is another thing he said. Oh, you think I'm judging some guy for having a groupie's mouth around his cock? No, I wouldn't be able to fucking resist that. I'm the most impulsive person ever. Dude, your wife's fucking smoking hot. Why on earth would you have no discipline whatsoever? You're telling me you have no discipline whatsoever. I find that very hard to believe. I think that that's him trying to, like, be cool with his audience. I mean, how can you not resist? Like, fucking, are you serious, dude? How can you not resist that? Do you have zero fucking discipline whatsoever? If some fucking random hoe-ass bitch is trying to suck your dick, you're just gonna let her do it because you're impulsive. I mean, fucking Christ, dude. And I'm not gay, by the way, dude. I've got a wife. But I just can't imagine that level of fucking lack of discipline, that you wouldn't be able to stop yourself from allowing it's fucking mental to me, dude. It's mental. You're in your 30s, you've got 3 kids, you've got a wife at home. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Why do you keep getting put in these situations? Or why do you keep putting yourself in these situations where, whether or not they're true, the accusations can be levied against you? It's fucking mind-blowing to me, dude. Another thing I want to touch on too. Clearly Conor McGregor has been doing a bunch of blow. I don't think that should be contested by anybody. It's pretty clear. I do, however, think there are a bunch of people who don't know what cocaine does to you. And they just talk about it because they've seen it in movies or whatever the fuck. And I think that Jesse on Fire is one of those people. And to be fair, I think that he has said himself that it's probably been like a decade or something since the last time he did blow. But what I do want to say is like there's a certain amount of blow you can do where you don't be like, people get this idea that you become like this fucking Super Saiyan version of yourself, right? Like fucking Al Pacino and Scarface or whatever. And maybe if you take like a bump or a small line, right, it might feel like that. You might feel like a Super Saiyan version of yourself. But after enough, your equilibrium's off. Your fucking reactions are off. Your brain, you're not yourself, and you're not heightened. It doesn't make you better after a certain amount, especially not if you've been up multiple days partying. And what I will say is that there are plenty of people who I know, who I thought were good people, or maybe they are good people, who have done things that I would have never expected them to do because they were on blow or because they were coming down off of blow. Those two of them, both things can be horrible, right? When you're coming down off of like a 3-day bender, toxic. I got into a full-on fist fight with one of my best friends because he sucker punched me coming down off of a bender. And then we fought in his fucking tiny ass apartment and like ruined everything. And then immediately after, he snapped out of it and he went, "Holy shit, I don't know what the fuck happened." And I'm like, well, yeah. You know what I mean? And not just that, it doesn't need to be gendered either. You think about how many fucking girls do you know, right? I know a few. How many girls do you know who have done sexual favors for things like drugs when before they got into drugs, they had relatively low body counts, right? Or they were like frugal, or not frugal, a fucking prude. You know what I mean? Like I know girls who had sex with like one guy and then they get into cocaine and all of a sudden they're having sex blowing drug dealers. And next thing you know, 3 weeks later, their body counts up to 20, right? And it's not just because they're women. It's because the drugs, okay? You get me? Like drugs can make you do fucked up shit. And it can make girls suck dick for blow. They can make a girl suck a stranger's dick. Or it can make a guy attack his fucking best friend, you know? And Conor McGregor is clearly on blow. It can cause like a psychosis in you. And what I would imagine happened is probably that he just got a little too handsy, a little too aggressive, and that it maybe started off consensually, but, you know, he just kept pushing. Because that's like, you're all gritting your fucking teeth and, you know, that's what I think happened. And I really don't like this. Like, I understand that you should not believe all women because women lie, but men also lie. So just because you shouldn't believe all women doesn't mean that every allegation is a false one, right? And I know that a lot of people know that, but I feel as though after the Me Too bullshit, right? And like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and all this shit. But by the way, the only reason why she was even able to make it appear as bad as she did was because there were things that were like close enough that she would like, there were situations and positions that he and her were in together where she was able to make it look worse than it was. Had there not been any situation, she wouldn't have been like, after all that shit, I feel as though the pendulum has swung too far back. And that every time a girl levies an accusation against a guy, it gets written off as a false allegation. And I don't think that it happens as much as people think. Because, like, had Conor not gone to the bathroom with her, which is on video, and the security guards blocking her friend is also on video, she wouldn't have been able to levy this accusation against him, right? If they just walked by each other in the hallway, and then all of a sudden she's saying this shit, it would be easily debunked, easily proven incorrect with video footage, like no problem. Fuck, man. To me, it's like, obviously when a person is making an accusation, they're gonna heighten certain aspects that they think make the story sound worse or better for them, and they're gonna whatever. But then it applies the same way. And whether or not you think he is innocent in this instance, I think that it should be noted he's being a fucking idiot. He's being a fucking idiot. Again, dude, Israel Adesanya, John Jones, Dustin Poirier, fucking Habib, like so many guys with millions and millions of dollars, with millions and millions of Instagram followers, don't have this shit happen. Right? This is what I think the main crux is that he keeps continuously putting himself in situations that allow these kind of allegations to be levied. And I'm just sick of people like writing it off because it's Conor McGregor, and just because this is another thing, dude. Hypergamy does exist to an extent, right? Women want to fuck up most of the time, or at least marry up, because there's no benefit to them of having a hookup with a fucking high status guy if they get nothing from it after. Not every girl wants to fuck Conor McGregor. I'm sure there are a lot of girls that would want to fuck Conor McGregor, and guess what? Those kinds of girls who want to fuck him just because he's him are also the kind of girls that might levy false allegations against you. You see this a lot with like the fucking red pill podcasts. The kinds of girls that they have on, the kinds of girls they associate with, the kinds of girls that they hook up with are the kinds of girls they're talking about. They're attracting what they hate. There are plenty of women who are not like that. Like, it's fucking mind-blowing to me, dude. It's mind-blowing. And people can say I'm coping or whatever. It's just, come on, dude. Not every girl is but anyways, he said a few other stupid things that just drove me fucking up the wall. And I just thought, like, dude, these are so easily argued against. Why would, like, if you're going to defend him, do a better job. And now I am glad that he's came out and said that it looks bad, but I feel he does that to kind of flip-flop. Because then that way he can be on the right side no matter what happens. But I just feel like where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And, you know, the first two, it's like, yeah, okay. But then you get 3, 4, and they just seem to keep piling up. And you realize that no other UFC fighter, despite the amount of money, despite the amount of followers they have, has this issue. Or not even just fighters, man. There's other guys that have that kind of money and that kind of fame. And I don't know, man. To me, it's again, I'm not giving my position. I am playing devil's advocate. I am arguing from the other side because I find, or I thought that would be a bit more interesting and a bit more entertaining, because everybody seems to jump to his defense. And I don't understand why. Wait for more shit to come out about it. But, you know, if he wouldn't keep putting himself in this situation, these accusations would be impossible. And the fact that the security guards blocked her friend from going in, that's fucked up. I don't care if you think she's lying or what. The fact that that's on video, that is fucking mind-blowing to me. Because that is coercive, right? Her friend was following her. They were basically touching each other's, like, not fucking touching each other like they were doing some weird shit, but like the buddy system. You know what I mean? She's right behind her with her phone out, and then all of a sudden she gets blocked out. And then this girl is in the bathroom now with a professional fighter who's most likely coked up, or at the very least drunk. Yeah. Obviously, like, the same goes for the women. Fuck it. We're going full black pill. The same goes for the women. If you don't stop putting yourself in a situation where you could have that happen to you, you do not have no agency. You are not a retarded kid, right? That has to be fucking followed around for the rest of his life. You have the agency to not put yourself in those situations. You just do, regardless of who you are. It goes to both ways. But again, just to reiterate, I don't understand why there's no other fighters that have this issue. And I get that he's the richest and the most famous, but there's plenty of guys who could write fat checks if they needed to. Not wanting to press criminal charges is fucking normal, especially if it's a celebrity. There are girls that don't press criminal charges when it was a fucking like family member or a friend or some shit. You know what I mean? Because what's the point? Right? It probably won't end up in a conviction. If it does, he'll get fucking nothing. You know what I mean? Waste of time, stressful, traumatizing, like all this shit. And, you know, he needs to fucking stop doing blow, dude. Honestly. That shit fucks with you. I know so many people who have ruined their lives with that shit. I know people that had all of the makings, all of the, like, everything about them you would have assumed. Once we get out of high school, come adulthood, they're going to be fucking absolutely successful, and now they're homeless in fucking Vancouver. You know what I mean? So, I know a girl who got inherited, like $300,000 and a house when she was 20, and she's homeless in Vancouver. So, you know, drugs can do things to you. He needs to stop putting himself in these situations, because whether or not he's guilty or innocent, you shouldn't be putting yourself in those situations. Women, if you don't want fuck shit to happen to you, don't go to a fucking bathroom with a stranger. Okay, I don't care if you've seen him on TV. He's a stranger to you. You don't know him. Anyways, dude, like and subscribe. Don't get too triggered. I'm playing devil's advocate. See you at the next one. Bye-bye.